Have you ever run out of money before you get to your next paycheck? If so, you're not alone. There are millions of people who struggle to make it between paychecks. Being on a paycheck-to-paycheck basis is never easy. In fact, there are a number of downsides to it. Stressful as it is to not have money in your bank account when you need it, it can also lead to borrowing when a pressing expense arises before your paycheck clears. Hello and welcome back to the Finance Guardian channel. Making sure you don't run out of money before payday can be a challenge. Still, it is certainly possible. Today I'll be sharing with you helpful ways on how you can stop running out of money every month. So hit that subscribe button and the bell beside it and let's get started. Analyze your spending. The first place to look if you often run out of money is at your spending. This is to help you really understand where your money is being spent. Finding out the root of the problem may be difficult without diving deep into your spending habits. You can seek a financial advisor or helpful apps if you need help tracking your spending. The expense that is causing you to run out of money may be painfully obvious in some cases. You might be overpaying for restaurant meals, or you might have high car insurance rates. Whatever the reason, looking over your spending can shed light on any glaring financial problems. You may also review your credit and debit card statements for the past 3 months. This will help you determine where you spent the most money, and after you've done that, you may want to keep a spending journal to maintain a record of your future spending. A spending journal will not only allow you to see where your money is allocated in real time, but will also allow you to assess how you are feeling after each financial transaction. Budgeting. If you have a strong budget in place, then you don't have to eat ramen every last week of the month, no matter how often you get paid. But if you don't have one, you may want to track your spending to identify where you can make cuts. Then you can develop a budget that includes reasonable reductions to make sure your expenses remain within your income. Take note that creating a budget won't solve your problem if you cannot cover all of your essential expenses with your income. Even so, it allows you to identify the size of the gap so you can make other adjustments. In some cases, you will be able to reduce your spending in a few key areas and end up with enough money to pay your bills. In that case, staying on a budget will ensure that your money will last, and if you're interested in getting assistance with the math, you can work with a financial advisor or an accountability partner. If you are still struggling to make it to the next paycheck even with a budget, then it's time to try a new budgeting method. After all, budgeting is not a one-size-fits-all approach. You will need to create a budget that is right for you. There are many ways to budget. For example, the 80-20 rule states that you should devote 80% of your income to your needs and wants and 20% to savings. Or perhaps a zero-based budget would be more comfortable for you if you want to budget every single cent. Remember that the most ideal type of budget is the one that works for you. There's nothing wrong with trying different budgeting methods and apps until you find one that works well for you. Cut spending where you can. Start by examining your biggest expenses to see where you can reduce your spending. For instance, finding more affordable housing can be the major game changer. Think about moving to a new apartment or finding roommates in order to reclaim a significant portion of your paycheck. Among the other big-ticket categories that you should consider cutting back on is your vehicle expenses. For example, you could save money by looking around for a new auto insurance policy. You could think about trading in your current vehicle for a more affordable model. Once you have assessed all of your fixed expenses, you can turn your attention to your variable and discretionary expenses. Sadly, these can pile up pretty quickly, so try to look hard for places where you can cut back. Perhaps you can cook at home instead of eating out. Especially with rising food costs, you're often unable to reduce your grocery budget after a certain point. If you don't see any more room for cutting back on your spending, then you could create another source of income. The purpose of this is to add another tap to your bucket. Wealthy people earn money in multiple ways. Poor people earn no income at all. Time is being exchanged for money among the middle class. You need to look for another source of income. It would be more wise to ask, what else can I do to monetize my strengths? Give it some thought. It is possible to monetize anything. All you need to do is figure out how. It is true that not everything should be monetized, but there are certainly some things that can be monetized. There are countless hobbies that can be turned into side businesses. Just look for someone who is doing it and learn from them how it's done. Life is full of expenses that just keep growing. It is vital that you plan how to grow your income regardless of whether you need it right now. After all, you will need it someday. It is helpful to increase your income before your expenses catch up to you. Don't swipe, use cash. As a result of changing lifestyles, more people are moving to cashless money, but this is not a smart move to save money. Paying online makes the amount less visible, which allows you to spend more than necessary, but paying in cash makes it clear that the money you saved will be gone. Basically, there is a human psychology behind it. When you give cash to someone, you feel reluctant and then prevent yourself from spending that is not necessary. Don't worry if paying in cash seems old-fashioned to your friends, just keep in mind that this would help you avoid spending needlessly. Look into government benefits. Your income may be the problem rather than your spending. If this is the case, you may be eligible for government benefits such as SNAP, temporary assistance for needy families, Medicaid, or state, county, or local programs. You might qualify for these or other programs if you want to make sure that your money stretches until payday. Don't forget your emergency fund. It can be extremely difficult to make it to payday when unexpected expenses pop up. And an emergency fund comes in handy at times like these. Emergency funds are specialized savings accounts designed to cover unforeseen expenses. It is one of the best ways to eliminate financial stress since it will give you a sense of financial security. Creating an emergency fund may be a good idea if money runs out frequently. Of course, saving money can be challenging. Nevertheless, it's a wise idea to include this goal in your budget because life can throw expenses your way when you least expect them. Put some money aside from each paycheck to prepare for the future. Automating deposits into your savings account each time you get paid can make it easier for you to save. Taking this approach saves you money before you have the chance to consider what to do with it. Avoid borrowing money. And finally, if you are already having trouble staying on top of your finances, do everything you can do to avoid borrowing any money. If you have already borrowed, make big sacrifices if necessary to repay your current debt as soon as possible. Credit card companies or other lenders aren't the last place you want to send your hard-earned money when money is already tight. Those accounts will accrue interest, which will only increase your purchases costs. It will be even more difficult to stretch your money if you commit your future paychecks to monthly payments. Paychecks can be the mother of all challenges, and as terrible as this situation may seem, there are some steps that might help you get out of it. This will ensure you don't end up waiting around with a void in your bank account. Although these may not work for everyone, there are people with wages that are too low to even come close to living. But these types could make a big difference in many situations, and making it to payday might not be as challenging with the right money moves. And that's all the time that we have today, folks. We hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit that like button. If you're new around here, subscribe to our channel to remain updated about all of our future videos.